Yeah, I just keep it steady on the magic. Do my thing, I'm healing, it's fantastic. If I fall, rise automatic. You ain't no now, you know. I'm the one raise myself like a tree from the roots. West side girl, cause she lit in the coast. East side girl when she speaks to the roots. Stay 100 cause she on with the truth. Been there on struggle, know that it pass. Only going up, yeah, the pain don't last. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. Ooh, take off. This is take off, take off, take off. Shorty like Brandy, fight like Monica. What you know about her? Baby girl rising, way to the top. Shaking the world, don't expect her to stop. Purpose so great, she get what she got. Follow her step, cause she following God. What you need more, got a heart full of gold. Even at times when it's raining and cold. Ooh, she bout take off. Ooh, she bout.
All right. Welcome back to the Uprooted Network. It's your girl, Hannah, aka Ruta, and we are back with Summer with Zoo, our special season here in honor of our beautiful sister. And today is her birthday. Today is her birthday, and I'm saying that happy now, but if you would have asked me 12 hours ago, it was a different energy. And we're really just trying our best to cycle through this grief and understand how we hold each other through this, like how we process this together, et cetera, et cetera. And so this season has been very beautifully therapeutic for me. And I've just been bringing on all of Zoo's loved ones, and just dope people in general. So today I have none other. I was about to say to my girl Billy, but I don't know if they know Billy from the block. So should I be proper? Like, my girl Blien, like, like I was like, how do you like people to refer to you?
Like I'll introduce myself as Blien at first, and then
Yeah.
like, oh, you're Billy, right? So it's just like I'm very confused. I would say it's kind of my sister's fault a little bit because she says, "Oh, Billy, Billy." I'm just like, I don't know what name to give people. So it's I go by both, but it's mostly Billy.
Okay. Well, as someone who also has two very different names, like I get it. Like it's very very confusing. And then when I have y'all on here, you be confused in the audience too. Like, listen, this is the most African thing about us is the nicknames, the names, the family, whatever. It just is what it is. Okay.
Trust me. Every time somebody asks me what my name is, I look like I'm about to have a stroke because I try to figure out what name to give.
I be like calculating all these things in my head, like, what's the odds? How many times am I gonna see you? What crowd am I gonna see you around? Because if you saying this name around this crowd, then these people are gonna be like, I didn't know that was your name, and it's gonna be a whole conversation. Like you gotta really calculate if you want to have the whole explanation every time. And it's like makes life very difficult.
Very.
But besides that, let me tell the people. So actually, I remember my first interaction with you, and then maybe it's different from your remembrance of me, but it was very early on when the war in Tigray first broke out, and my sweet sis Delina was like, "I'm gonna do a support group," and I was like, "Oh, okay. Like, of course I'm gonna want that to happen." And she was like, "Can you help me, facilitate, do, etc., whatever?" And I was just like, this was, again, context. This was very early on in the war. We did not have a lot of prep time, nothing. So we kind of just put together this room because there was a need and we were trying to fill the need. And it got a little spicy. Okay, got a little spicy in the conversation. And I just remember this very sweet angel of a person, Billy. Like, I told y'all can't hear, the lady is very nicely trying to tell y'all that you need to listen. And it was so good to have somebody with logic in the conversation because everybody was very, very emotional. And I didn't know who you were at the time. And I think Roby happened to be in the room with me, my cousin Roby. And he goes, "Oh, I know her." Or for some reason, I don't know how you guys had connected, but he knew you, and then got on the phone afterwards. And then we had a phone call after.
I remember this.
And yes. And then I was like, "I don't know who that is, but I like her." And then I pieced together the family connection, et cetera, et cetera. Flash forward to, you know, just being on socials together, being on Clubhouse together, then me becoming like super good best friends with your sister. And a couple of trips later, and it's like boom bam, here we are, like, you know, damn near we'll probably be related. We still have to figure out if our families know each other because we're from the same city. So
I'd be surprised.
I know it was quite the explanation. But do you remember how we met, or was that different for you?
No, I actually remember, because I remember I called Roby right after that, and because I don't know if it was a video. I don't know if you turned on your video or anything like that, but I think he Snapchatted me or something like that. That's what it was. And then I just went from there. I met him back in 2014, and then we reconnected in 2016. So it was all me though, because I spoke first.
The social butterfly, yeah, because he's not. I mean, now that he's glowed up, we're not gonna make this episode about Roby, but I just want y'all to go back, watch the first episode of Uprooted. Okay, and then when you meet him now, two different people.
I love them.
Yes,
I love them.
Oh yeah. Oh, we always tell him he's a true Gemini. We're like, you're very much a Gemini. He's gonna be so mad when he watches this episode, but that's okay.
It's okay.
This is what me and Billy do. I be like, Billy, you talk to your friend. That's how we address it. And it's cute because you could do the same thing about your sister, like, and that's hilarious. So I love that. But we really got to just connect. Like, I got to get to know you just outside of that because we spent so much time on Clubhouse, and I feel like there's kind of that distinction of the younger, quote unquote, let's, you know, because you guys are not that young, the younger crowd, and us old heads, as you and Zoo and everyone like to remind us. It was just a nice time. Like, we spend entirely too much time together, know each other's day lives and all that, but it's been a beautiful ride, and I think we all got to bond in that. So tell the people, because they don't know you and they don't know anything about you, a little bit more about who you are and how those connections were made. Were you always kind of connected to community?
Okay, so my name's Blien. Do I say where I'm from and everything like that?
Yeah, why not? Rep your city.
I'm from Louisville, Kentucky, you know, 502, you feel me? But
I didn't even know the area code. Thank you.
And I go to University of Louisville. I'm a computer science and engineering major. I'll be graduating in December. But that's just a little something. And, you know, I love the gym. You know, that's really my stress reliever and everything like that. I try to be as active as I can in the community. I've always been the social butterfly. So I'm always talking to somebody, or I'm really wanting to connect with the community, because the community here, it's we have a pretty decent community, but there's a big age gap between us older folks and then the younger kids. It's like about 10-15 years difference. So there's not that many people our age. So of course, like, we've been reaching out to other Tagaros and other cities and everything like that. And of course, my family, we love to travel. So you'll see us traveling everywhere. Yes. No matter if we get the chance, we will do it. So, you know, I've just been connecting with a lot of people. And then with Clubhouse, like, Clubhouse really, it did numbers. I've met many people, and it was just great to actually finally meet a lot of people when it came to Tigray Fest in Denver. And then we met up again in DC for the 1 year. And then, you know, it just kind of kept going with meeting people. I'm still meeting people even when I went to Tigray Fest in DC. So it's pretty amazing. And it's just nice to match the voices with the face. And it's a lot of people that I've met are exactly how they were on Clubhouse. And it was just refreshing to me that people were being genuine. And I love genuine connections. I really do. And it's something that warms my heart, because this is something that I will carry on forever, for the rest of my life. This, unfortunately, the war connected us, but fortunately it connected us, because whenever we all go back home, we're all going to be, just hanging out. We have something to look forward to, even though we've always had something to look forward to before, but it's much stronger connection, and we're all in this for life. So
that part,
appreciate it.
that part. It's very grounding. Like it is. It's like it forces you to like look at yourself at your chorus level, just like, who are you, and who do you connect with, and like, what do you believe in, and what are you willing to stand up for? So it's kind of been beautiful to like see that. And because I always warn people about trauma bonding. I'm like, hey, be careful, because we are dealing with a lot of trauma, so be careful about trauma bonding. But there's also a lot of beauty and strength in what you're talking about, right? Like our ability to just connect with one another off rip. Like it's just instantaneous. It's kind of like I forget how Danny said it, but he was like, there's also intergenerational love, not just the trauma that we get. And so we're meeting people like, and we're just instantly like close, right? Like I think, what was that first? Were you at the first not the first protest, but the one in New York, the 100-day one? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, man, which one so I saw you at Denver. Yeah, basically, like I remember at the New York one, that's when I even met your sister for the first time. Mm-hmm. And we roomed together. We were already we were already so close. We had all planned, like me, her, Rem, and then I don't remember who else was joining us, but we were just like, we're gonna stay together and we're gonna do this whole thing together. It was like our first time, and we did the whole weekend together. It was beautiful. But that just goes to show you, like, we didn't even know each other before. And most people are not just gonna be like, hey, let me go room with some strangers. Like, like, but we don't feel like strangers, because our families, like, legitimately, how many times we end up liking, these new people that we meet, and then we're like, oh, our parents know each other. Cool. Like, that's dope.
That's how it happens. I mean, somebody's gonna know somebody.
Right? Like every single time. And I will say that your age group has done phenomenal with that, because you even said earlier in this, right? Like you met my cousin Roby back in 2014, and then reconnected in 2016. So like that's pre-war, right? That's like the pre-war festival circuit, community fundraising, et cetera, and then like, how do you guys continue that? Through social media, just keeping up with each other? And
yeah, definitely social media. After we well, I saw him at Atlanta for Indurta in 2016, and that kind of that happened. And then 2018 for Indurta again, it was in DC, so we linked up then. And then he was actually right before, I made sure that I saw him right before he went back home, because he was going back home in 2018. So I got to see him before he left, literally like hours before his flight. So it's sweet. He's so sweet. And I just saw him, like, we've seen each other grow, but I really noticed how much he's grown over the years. And it was just amazing. It was like, okay, he turned into a social butterfly, and I love this,
right?
Out of his shell.
Very much. And it's cool because like, I also remember those experiences too, right? I'm not gonna age some of these people, but some of us been around 10, 15, 20 years, okay? And I see that too, where it's like, now I'm coming back into these advocacy spaces, and I'm like, wait, I know you, we grew together, like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you're so-and-so. And so we're like, reconnecting, and it's like dope to see people not only grow up, right, but they're in their careers now, they're whatever, achieving on some level, they're into their own thing, and they've like built their own life and network. So it's really cool to see how people have flourished, right? And like how people have really adapted their lives. It's really where Uprooted came from for me, but it's just been so phenomenal to see. And I'm wondering too, because I'm like, part of me, and I didn't say this in your intro, but part of me wanting you here was because I noticed that like you, Zoo, and I don't want to mess up your whole friend group. There's like a handful of y'all. There you go. And there was, so you guys all had kind of these smaller groups where you guys got to build more intimate friendships. And I was like, that's so beautiful to see, because I'm seeing the next generation do it, and like, kind of just hold each other down. Because I was like, how are they students? Like, if people didn't peep the intro, y'all are students, and you didn't choose easy majors, you didn't choose lazy majors, you chose hard ones that you have to use your entire brain for. You didn't even mention like working or doing anything else outside of being a student. Exactly, right? So there's things that you're connecting with Zoo on, and your other friends on like multiple levels. So I'm wondering for you, like, one, I guess, how those kind of relationships formed. Is it similar to like what you experienced with, my cousin and everybody else that used to be on the circuit? Or do you feel like your relationships are blossoming like differently now, that you're older and the stakes are a little different?
So I guess I'll just go ahead and jump into it. So the way that I actually met Zoo, Salam, and Fevin were we're on Twitter, and somebody, was just like, let's start an Ethiopian and Eritrean group chat. And we're just like, okay, so like there's like 100+ people in this group me, and then we're all just like, sending each other our socials, we're talking, we're laughing, getting to know multiple people, right? And then it just kind of like dwindled down to like me, it was more on Zoo's end that she picked out people. So there was like our friend, it was me, Salam, Fevin, our friend Arsama, and then Edom. So all of us, we ended up being in a texting group chat. So that lasted for for a couple of years and everything like that. Then me, Zuher, Salam, and Fevin, we all figured out that we were Tunawaitis. So we're just like, oh, wow, like, where are we all from? And, Shure, that's where Zuhair's from, Fevin's Aksum, and then Salam Wukro, which is not far from Mekelle, which I'm from. So we're just like, wow, like, that's amazing. Like, if it wasn't for Zoo, like, we wouldn't be friends. We wouldn't have made this like connection. And then, of course, when the war started, I mean, when I tell you, I don't think you even understand, like, our phone calls, like FaceTime, we would, at this point, we might as well just be together. We were all in different states. So it was, but we always were on FaceTime, and just, that's just how it was. But we were always talking, like, we went to each other for advice, and, sending like crazy pictures, videos, just like we were very open and free. And it was a free space for all of us, judgment free, 100%. Like, it was like as if like I've known these people all my life. Like, that's how amazing it was. And then, we just, of course, the war started, and I was like, it just so happened before the war started in 2019, Fevin, Zuher, and I were all in Tigray at the same time. All in Tigray. So it was just like, wow. But Zuher was in Shure, Fevin was in Aksum, and then I was in Mekelle. So like, and then it just Zuher was there for the Tigray festival that was there. And the diaspora.
Which year?
2019.
Oh, I was gonna say I was there for it, but I think that was before. It must have been 2016 or 2015. Okay.
Yeah. So it was like we were all texting each other like on Twitter, because internet. Can't text. So we're all exchanging our back home numbers. We're just like, where are you? Like, I want to see you guys. And then it was like, unfortunately, because like I ended up, I was leaving right when my father just came into town. I was literally leaving a week later because I have school. So I was like, damn. So we didn't get to meet, unfortunately, but it was okay. We were still on FaceTime and everything when everybody got back, and I met a great group of sisters. It was like sisters that I gained. And when the war started, it was weird because I was taking it was November, I believe November 2020. I literally just got to DC. Like Evan just got to DC. I got to DC. Selam already lives in DC. And then it just so happened Zuh was on a trip down to DC that weekend. And we ended up meeting. Oh, wow. We all met for the first, well, I met Fevin and Selam before, like for my birthday weekend in October, but it just so happened we ended up finally meeting Zuher in person that November. It was just perfect because we were all together finally at once, and we just had a great time. And it was weird. I will say it was weird, but at the same time, nothing changed. It was as if we've met each other in a past life or something. It's like we've known each other for so long. Like, there's no weird energy. We're all just like, nobody's shy to say anything because we were so comfortable with each other, because we talked for, I think we're at 3 years of friendship then. Yeah, 3 years then. So it's like, we know each other. We've always planned to meet each other, even though like we always planned to meet each other, but our schedules just didn't work out. And like I was in school, we were out of country. We were just kind of just everywhere. But if it wasn't for Zuh, I don't think I would have even remotely came close to knowing any of them. So I'm really grateful for that connection. I'm forever going to hold on to that. So I gained 5 sisters and 3 others that are Tiroetis actually. So it was perfect. It was a perfect match.
That's so beautiful. I don't think I realized like the whole extent of your guys' friendship. I knew you guys were all close, but I don't know why I thought it started like in the beginning of the war.
Oh no, it was pre-war. Everything was pre-war with us. It was fate.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. A lot of people thought I was, because of the war, but yeah, no, it was definitely way before that we connected, and it's.
That was at the beginning of your undergrad?
I was still technically in the beginning of my undergrad. Yeah, we were both beginning of our undergrad.
Yeah, because I was like, yeah, Zuh just finished her master's this year. So she would have been, because I feel like she's a little older, no?
No, we're actually the same age. I turned 24 later on this year.
Oh, wow. You see how my brain is working, right? Like, I'm trying to tell y'all, trauma brain is real.
Yeah.
Like, it's bad. Like, my best friend will tell you, and I'm gonna hit her up after this because my memory is usually really spot on. Like, really, really spot on. And I think like that's how I know this has been hitting me like way harder, is because like I'm really having trouble like recalling certain things right now. And I think it's because my brain has been working overtime to actively forget things, you know what I mean? And to like not think about things. So it's like, yo, girl, you can't have it both ways. Okay. You can't want to try to avoid things and try to remember them at the same time. Just don't work like that. Like you should choose a bubble, but it is what it is, right? So this is wild. Okay. So you guys like, wow. I'm just like reconnecting dots. So for the audience, they're probably just like, girl, get over it. And it's like, no, because I actually have been in these rooms with y'all for the last couple of years. And I'm like, damn, did I miss all this?
Like the odd thing is literally that weekend, the weekend that we met Zuh like in person, the day that we landed in DC, that was the day that the war started. So that's
So
all
wild.
we were talking about in the hotel room and everything like that. It was very like, it was weird.
I think, man, I just don't believe in coincidence anymore. You know? And we've had a talk about this offline. Because you know I'm very spiritual. I be looking at the numbers, alignment, like, oh, this came around full circle, this happened. And we can definitely go into that as well if you want to, Billy. Because it's just like, it's really like, it's just wild to me how that's connecting. Like you guys really, after building a friendship for years, coincidentally, like, you know what I'm saying, like meet the weekend where like the one identity that really pulled y'all together like is in question, you know what I mean? Like, or not even in question, but like endangered, literally like endangered. So I don't know, I don't really believe in accidents anymore. And it's hard to not believe in accidents because then it forces me to be like, Zuh's passing isn't an accident. But like, because I don't have an answer to why, like my brain, you see what I'm saying, where the trauma starts to get confusing, because it's like my brain is like, girl, you can't have it both ways. So it's been an interesting journey. And so it feels different even more so now, realizing how much deeper your connection goes in a way. Because so I was editing Saba's episode the other day, and when people, when you guys all get to watch it, you guys will see what I'm talking about. But there's a point where we're both kind of just speaking about the level of guilt we're feeling right now, and having like not gotten to know her as long as some of her other friends, like really like thinking about how you guys are coping. You know what I mean? Like I really do think about her friends that were actually her age, because I feel like the conversations y'all have with each other are a lot different than the conversations y'all have with us, you know.
For sure.
I was like, we talk about a lot of stuff, but I feel like you be keeping some things from me, and that's okay. I don't mind. I know my place, I know my lane. You know, I would take the older big sister role, but it does feel differently. So I just wanted to take some space to acknowledge that it probably is filling in. Like, let's just check in right there. Like, how are you processing, if you're processing at all? Like, where's your head and your heart at?
It's a great question. It's really tough, I would say. I've never really been the person that shows emotion, or but something kicked in last November that I like, just emotions just been flowing. It's something that I don't believe it, you know, but because I know I have a feeling that she's like still here. So it's like I'm still, I'm texting her phone just to like, hey, like, see you soon. Of course, I text her, happy birthday, Zuh, by the way. But it was, I mean, I'm getting through it. It's pretty tough, and it's like, I even went through a loss like 2 months before her passing, and like, she's over here trying to calm me down, telling myself, giving me some, like, just give myself some grace and everything like that. It's like, how am I supposed to like, like, I have to go back and reread her text messages, because it's like, you left me too. So it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. But I'm trying to be as strong as I can Definitely the gym has helped, you know, just to get my stress out and just like my thoughts. It's a great thinking place. I don't really talk to people. I just like, it's really hard to, but if I have to, like, I'll definitely, I try my best to reach out, but reaching out has always been a hard thing for me to do. But you know, I miss her all the time. And it's just like, I think it's just like, you know, we were supposed to go for a graduation. She was supposed to be for my graduation in December. So it's just like, dang, like, it's just like emotions are just everywhere. It didn't, I don't do funerals. Like, she knew that. Like, she knew that, and everybody knew that. I don't do funerals, no nothing. I'm not going to nobody's funeral. And I'm just like, I literally had to force myself, and like, not only getting my permission from my professors and all that, but it was like, I didn't really feel anything. Like, I felt sad. I felt really sad, but it didn't hit me until weeks later. And
Absolutely.
because having that, I talked to her literally that Friday, and it's over and over in my head. I do feel guilt, because why didn't I call her? You know, like, I told them, I sent in the group chat, I was just like, I want to see y'all's beautiful faces. Post something on Instagram. I just want to see your faces. And they're like, no, like, I'm like, she said that she wasn't feeling well, and the other one was like, you know, they didn't feel like it. And it's like, I can't remember. I've tried for these past couple of months, like, trying to figure out what was I doing on that day, and I can't remember. It's completely blank. Like, why didn't I call? So I'm really trying to get over that. Like, it's like, shouldn't be beating myself up about it, but you know, I just feel guilt that why didn't I do it? But it's like, I lost one of my best friends. I lost one of my great sisters, and it's like somebody that I talk to damn near every day. And I can talk to them every day, but I can't hear nothing back. So that's like one of the hardest things that, like, you know, I'm getting through, but I just gotta thug it out. That's all I gotta do. Because I know her, she would be like, stop, chill out, like, just stop. I already hear her voice in my head, like, what exactly she would be saying to me in her New York style accent. So, like, cause she's tough. She's real tough. So
she is.
I was like, okay, what would Zuher say? So
I tell myself that too. And then I'm like, she's tough, but she's soft. She's soft. She's mushy. Mushy as hell. She gonna tell you all that shit, but she gonna be secretly crying anyways. But like, it's yes. The audience isn't always privy, so like, you know, I'd just be crying all the time. So I don't think people ever like care anymore. If don't really pay attention to my tears anymore. But I really just was feeling so much for you, because it's being on what I feel like is more of the inner circle of knowing kind of like the back-to-back losses for you, and like the nature of everything has been really hard even on the outside, because I'm like, I remember being your age and losing people, you know, and speaking the way that you're speaking, in terms of like kind of swallowing it, and it's hard to talk about. And I never would have done this. Not even would. I didn't do this. Okay, talking about would. I have, and for certain, 100% proof that back in the day, I did not process any of my grief. I didn't talk about it. Definitely didn't ask for help about it. And the things that you're saying, and I'm just tell you shit right now, baby girl. It will catch up to you. It will catch up to you. You can only be so strong for so long. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we have like different values and ideas for what strength is. And I think what you're doing and what we're doing right now by being honest about the fact that we're not good, you know what I mean? And like to have tears publicly, like it takes a really strong person to do that, because think about how many people would not be in this position like every day. Like refuse, this is the scariest, you know, public speaking is like probably one of the number one fears, right? So it actually takes an incredible amount of strength.
It's actually one of my number one fears. Like it's I'm like surprisingly I'm doing this interview, which I'm happy, but I'm doing this for Zuher. I'm not doing this for me, no nothing, like I'm doing this for her because she would have wanted me to. And I don't even remember how I even signed up. Like that's how, like,
I sent you a text message and you clicked the link.
okay. Then there you go, because it's like, yeah, just mine's is very clouded. And it's been, I cry, but it's like I'm not a crier, but I'll cry alone. But it's like it's in public, I don't know how to express my feelings. It's more I'm always smiley, laughing, and that's just how I am. Like, but it's genuine, literally. But it's I just don't know how to show sadness. Like, really.
It's okay. We weren't socialized to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like it took me a long time to be able to do this all the time. Like it did. So I don't blame you at all. I'm actually just really, really proud that you can that you can do this, that you said yes. I was very much shocked too. I was like, oh, that was easy. I was like, that was fast. Like, cause
I signed up immediately.
Immediately. It was like the same day. And that to me is immediately. You get a same day response from somebody in this day and age. Like, oh shit. Okay, well you didn't, it's right on the money. Just signed up. I said, okay, I like that. Because I have been reaching out to different people, and I don't know why, like I kind of just went to the list that, I don't remember if you were in the room, but like we had went over like a list of people to bring on the show that Zoo and a couple other people had helped me with, and she had texted me. So I just went through that list. And then I started going back and thinking about like, wait, who do I actually have conversations with about Zoo? And then I was like, oh my God, I'm like literally missing people right in front of me. So that's why I've been texting people later than, I was like, the season started, but I'm still inviting people, because it's not about a length of time. It's about giving you guys the space, and myself the space, because I don't think, like what you said is, it's not a new thing. It's not like you know what I mean? It's not an unknown phenomenon. Like our culture, our people, Black people in general, don't get space to actually cry and have people care about our tears and our pain, and it's okay that you don't know how to do it well, as long as you're still here willing to do it and willing to acknowledge what it is that you're going through in your reality. And I'm proud as hell of you, and I want to like take the second to do that. I'm gonna start boohooing again all over again, because the proud sister in me is like, I know, it's like, let me turn on this light to get a little bit brightness back here behind me. But I know it's not easy for you. It's not, of course not, and I think some people don't, like, let me fill in a little bit of a puzzle, right, for the things people might not have paid attention to in your intro. Like Billy said Kentucky. I don't know if people for the states understand what that means. Billy, can you explain where Kentucky is on a map, because these niggas don't understand.
So Kentucky is right above Tennessee and right below Ohio and Indiana.
Okay, and these people are probably like, huh, still confused. Okay, so it's considered the South, right? But it's not like one of them little bottom states. Okay,
It's the most
it's in the
northern southern
middle.
state. Yeah.
There you go. It's a
Other than
little bit
Virginia.
in between, and so they're gonna be confused. But when you say a community that's so small, like it, one is the South, so we're thinking about just in general having to understand and deal with racism, right? That's one layer. But then two, having a minority and a minority and a minority, like, and having that be your experience. And so for people who might not understand, or who are watching this, who are not, like, haven't had that experience growing up, they might not understand how deep and personal a connection to other Tigrawatis is, right? To have sisters, right? And you don't use that word loosely, right? To have formed a sisterhood with people who actually understand you and identify with you, and all of those things are just so important and hard to come by, and they're so rare, right? And thankfully that's getting better day and day. But it's what we're all striving to do, because we do feel so alone and not seen and all of that. And what I would probably say, at least what I could tell, is the connection I see between you and Zoo is that it's not that you're fake happy. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're not fake happy. I think that both of you understand what it's like to be left out, right? To be the only person, to be, you know, the person who needed a friend. And I feel like you guys choose to do that every day. Like, you choose to wake up and be happy and nice, because you could just as easily choose to wake up, yes, and be a bee, right? So
Yeah.
if you guys don't follow Billy, if you follow, if you do after this, you go see her in the morning trying to tell people go have a good day, and go be sunshine and go be light, and I think that's so beautiful. So I obviously you wasn't gonna toot your own horn, so I was like, let me do my job. That's what the hostess is supposed to do. So I was like, let me
I
go ahead
try
and do
to,
my job a little bit.
yeah, I try to be as positive as I can. And, um, it's definitely not only with COVID starting, but, a lot of us in the community, we may have, those people that we talk to every day to encourage us to do our best, but it's also great to hear from other strangers, like, you know what, go get up, do your thing. You have a job to do it. And, great things will come out of it. And not that many people have that person. And I'm very much, for me, I'm a free space and a safe space. I want people to feel comfortable, because I've a lot of the times, even just growing up, I never really had that safe space outside of my family, because that's just how it was in Kentucky. And like, making friends was very hard for me growing up. So I want to give somebody a space where I never really had that opportunity. So I definitely make sure that, like, with my friends and everything like that, even here, they always know that I'm a safe space, like judgment free. I mean, even though everybody judges, I don't judge. We're human, at the end of the day.
Mhm.
So that's just how it is. And, yeah, everybody have a great day, like, be amazing. A lot of people don't get that, what is it called? Reassurance that they are important or that they are loved. Because nobody should ever feel less than what they are, because they're not. They're very highly valued. They just don't know it themselves. And I really want people to really know that, like, you are really loved. You are enough. And don't let anybody make you feel any less. So
Yeah, that's
that's
beautiful.
that's really something I really want to spread to the world. Like, I hate negativity. And we all love to be toxic sometimes. I don't really see myself as toxic. I don't know when I have my toxic times,
I
but
don't think so.
it's very,
You listen, you and Madi, I feel like your other sister is the same way. Even though she's you know what, more power to her. She private too. Um, but I've been saying there's something in the water in your guys' family, because I was just like, yeah, this whole non-judgment thing is really real for y'all. Like it just I don't really think you care for the tea. I think if it has something to do with your friends and you're like, are you good? Like, do I need to like show up and be your friend right now? Yeah, but I feel like any other time things are popping off, like you don't entertain it. Like you don't like you're never really in the space and you don't really add too much to the conversation, you know?
it's like I don't really have the energy for it, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I could be spending my time on something else. Like don't I'm not saying that I don't care, but if as long as somebody is not being hurt, physically, verbally, emotionally, then like it will pass. It's something that can pass, but definitely a lot of us, we're overthinkers. We may not know it, but a lot of us at the end of the day, we're very overthinkers. So I definitely want to make sure that, after a tough conversation or argument or situation, like hopefully your mind is settled and it's still okay and not affected by anything. So that overthinking, very much me. So don't overanalyze anything. Like just don't, because it's just gonna make it worse.
Girl, that doesn't even work. I don't even know why you try to tell you, like when we try to tell ourselves don't do something, then we do it more. It was like it's so hard. You gotta like do reverse psychology. Like it, yeah. You know,
Yeah.
I have like this debate with myself all the time where I'm like, okay, you're not gonna do this, Rita. You're not gonna you're not I don't play this game. But it's almost like the more we try not to think of something, we think about it more.
Mhm.
Like, and so it's it's even just like, okay, let's change narrative, let's change language, let's like instead of trying to like get rid of the thought, we're like, well, why does it keep coming back, right? And then it's like, okay, let's unpack it, and then you can like toss it to the side because you're like, oh, I don't actually need that one. Like that was a good one.
Yeah.
Because there's some funny stories we make up. Like the way the overthinking. Let's just say, because I feel like Zoo was too, and I feel like a lot of your conversations probably were talking each other off the ledge. Like, no, girl, that's stupid. Don't do that.
100%. Yeah, it was definitely a lot of those conversations. And, it's like, this is coming from a person where I've learned where a lot of my happiness came from was honestly not caring about what other people think. And I'm like really heavy on that, because it's just like, if somebody doesn't like me for me and who I am, why should I care and waste my time on what they have to say about me? So when it comes to my friends and I see them overthinking, and I'm just like, let them try to think like me. But I also definitely, before I do that, I want to understand where they're coming from and how they view things and everything like that, because at the end of the day, we all think our own way. So definitely those conversations, they always go left. Sometimes it moves right a little bit, but they definitely go left. But we'll end up coming to a conclusion. It's like an agreement, And then sometimes it even happens to me, like, when I'm coming talking to them and everything like that, like, everything's going, it goes left, and then it like moves right a little bit, and then we're just like, okay, you know what? This is what I'm gonna do. We all agree. Do the complete opposite. So, I mean, that's just how it is. And then we come back and we do it all over again, But that's just life, What can we do differently? But it's a lot of lessons throughout all those FaceTimes, all those text messages, and just phone calls definitely came out of it. And I honestly, I would never want to replace them but I would love to go through and redo them all over again, just to change nothing about it. I just want to go through all of it all over again, just so like I could just hear her voice. And like even the voice memos, like she's talking to us sideways most of the time. But just the fact that I get to hear her voice, it just makes a little smile. I can feel my heart just smile a little bit. So it's definitely worth it. But it's definitely something I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. And I even I don't know if most of you guys seen, I already got her tatted on me. So
I don't know if they saw, because if they don't know, now they know. You got it on your leg, right?
On my left ankle. I got Zoo Legend, so she's forever on me. She's forever in my heart already. I already knew that, but she's forever on me wherever I go for the rest of my life. So that's how much of an impact she had on me. Not only was she in school like me, but I saw her working a lot. She's always working on something late night. We'd be on the phone at like 2, 3 in the morning on FaceTime. All of us were all dropping off the calls because we're like, me and her studying. And, it's like she's just up, and then when it's time for me to go to sleep, we all just drop off the call, and just like, damn, like me and her both internships and everything like that. She just did too much, and I know what she was trying to do. She's excelling in her own ways, but definitely she overworked herself. And sometimes I wish like I could just take a lot of that pressure and that stress off of her. But she was always happy. She was always happy, no matter how hard she worked on her and how much she put her body through. She always got up the next day, like 3-4 hours of sleep, she's good. And it's just, that's like, it was every day. And it's like, honey, relax. Just relax. And that laptop, she loved her laptop, that clackety clack clack clack. We all heard it.
Girl, they gonna be so tired of hearing this. I was like, no, we were tired of hearing that. Like, okay. I was like, what the hell? And it was just like, and both of you are notorious for, hey, Zoo, hey, Billy, I wasn't listening. What'd you guys say? I've been over here working. Oh, irritated. Like,
hey,
we trying to get all this life advice. No, I be over here trying to get life advice. And people will probably be like, I'm the older one, whatever. But you guys have, like I said, rational thinking brains, computer science, political science, fucking let me save the world head asses. Like I have smart young women coming up behind me, and I'm going to seek counsel, okay? And you guys would just be ignoring, like just steady ignoring us. And it's just like, okay, yes, but you're right. It that was a constant battle. And I think like I'm glad to hear you say that you're balancing it out. You're going to the gym and you're doing the things that like help you feel good, right? And it's not about weight or anything. It's literally about like, I need a stress reliever. Like I need a space outside of this that is mine, that like you already know, hey, I struggle to ask for help and take the space that I need, but like I can go do this thing for me every day. And I feel like she was finding that, right? And like that balance is hard, but I again, I have to go back to my original thought process and belief that like things don't happen on accident, and it's not in us to be able to control everything, right? Like it's just, all we get to do is control our reaction and like how we respond. And I think that you've been doing it beautifully. You kind of already touched on it earlier too, your legacy. I don't know if you noticed when you answered it earlier, but it was pretty much on point. They don't know too. I told Billy I was gonna recruit her. I was like, hey, you smart, you do computer science. I'm gonna need you to do some stuff for Uprooted. Don't worry, I always got project girl. I always need somebody to do something. Because, you know, believe it or not, we're actually at the end of the interview. Did you believe me when I told you that it was gonna be easy?
It's amazing.
See, I be knowing what I'm doing up here. I be knowing.
That's great.
And you did beautifully. You answered the question really beautifully earlier. I didn't even ask the question, but like you were talking about wanting to uplift people, right? And to be that resource, because there's so many people who aren't feeling seen. So because I asked you before we started recording, and I was like, I told you the answer sometimes just comes out on its own. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna ask the question anyways, Billy Maade. What is it that you want your legacy to be? Because we know what Zeus was, you know, we know what she was building. But for you, what would you want it to be?
For me, definitely reaching people. Try to make them feel seen, feel loved, feel important. Not many people have, or just to even let out whatever that they want, like speaking wise, because a lot of people don't have that outlet like I did. And I think everybody deserves that. So, and definitely spread positivity and love. You know, it's a lot of negative things that we're going through right now that affects us in many ways, especially on mental health. So even though my field is tech, I have a heart, you know, I have a heart, and I really want to reach and connect with as many people as I can, and, you know, let them know that they are loved. And I just want to give me a big hug.
I love it. I know. I love it. I love it because I love you, and I'm just like, hell yeah. That's why, you know, I wanted to recruit you. That's the whole mission and goal, right? That we have here. There's a reason why I love you and why I connect with you so easily, and there's a reason why you and Zoo connect so easily, because she had the same heart, you know. Y'all, and now I'm gonna be over here boohooing and crying too. I already said it earlier.
It's okay.
Like the connection that I saw between y'all two is what I've seen in her, you know, and is that like y'all just have the purest hearts. You really do, Billy. Like I swear you are like the sweetest thing. All of us love you. I hope you know that. I got two separate messages today. I didn't even tell you earlier. I got two separate messages from people that I don't think you're even that close to. And I think you had like posted something about just not feeling good today and whatever it was. And they were like, hey, can you check on her? Is she good? I know you're close to her. And I was like, oh, my sis? Absolutely. like, you know, and I think other people see that in you too, even if you don't know that there's people who see your heart, who love you and who care about you, who might not even say it. And so hopefully that gives you some more reassurance so that you do cry a little bit more and let yourself come to people, because we love you so much. And I hate to think that you'd ever be sitting alone, you know, because I don't want to, right? Like I don't want to be the person sitting alone, and so I know what that feels like, and I think that we all have that in common, and it's so beautiful to see in you, because you just are like sunshine, like not like the fake kind. Like you, I can tell you literally dug deep and you did some work somewhere internally to like be able to flip that switch. And maybe when we're not so emotional about this, we can dive into that a little bit deeper and have you come back on and really think about like what it took for you to change that, right? To like get to the point where other people's thoughts and feelings about you weren't as important, because it breaks my heart to think that you would ever have any other thought otherwise, you know, or that anybody does, because you're so beautiful and you're so amazing, smart as hell. Oh my God. I like some of the things you be trying to like explain and do. I'm like, girl, I got a psych degree. Chill. That's not
I promise you, we are smarter than these computers. Just know that. Like, brain. built these computers. So you never limit yourself, I promise.
Hey, listen, and I'm gonna go back to you have a big heart and you're in tech. First of all, I want everyone to pay attention to something. What's the most famous tech that we use? Fucking social media, okay? What do we use social media for? To connect with other humans, right? So like obviously tech people care about human connection, right? And like
100%.
love. They might not be the best at doing it live in action, right? Doing the talking piece of it, but clearly the desire is there. Hence why we have a million apps to connect with one another.
Exactly. And more apps to come.
Oh my God, it's crazy. But I do want to, like, I just want you to really hear that. I said it a bit earlier, and I always like to affirm my guests, and it's just like, you do that, Billy, and you do it so well, and it comes naturally for you. Like, it's just a part of who you are in your day to day. It's not like a prescribed thing, right? It's like, hey, I'm going to intentionally wake up and be this person every day. And I think that's the best type of role model to have, because it's not you telling people, it's like you doing it by your own action. And I'm really, really proud of you. So I just want to say that.
Another thing is, I have this also tattooed on me, NSS, which means never stop smiling. I've always had seen pictures of me since I was a baby. My mom even told me that I always smiled. So smiling, sharing a smile every day, that's, it helps. You never know who needs it. So even just, you don't have to spread kindness. You don't have to tell, maybe you don't have to say like, you're important or everything like that. You don't really have to go in deep conversations, but sharing a smile can go a long way. So, and that's an act of kindness in my eyes. So definitely never stop smiling. And this goes for you 100% as well. So always keep a smile on your face. I know it's really hard, but we got to try our best, not only for you, but also for Zu. It's a tough time for a lot of people. She's impacted a lot of people all around the world. So, and just to see that she's so loved by many. I know her parents are proud, and I know her brother's beyond proud, So Fami and her parents, they're in my heart. I saw them last week, so I'm excited to see them soon. So Zude,
I'm over here jealous. I know. I was like, I was too, because you were with me. We were roommates, Camp Tigray, for Zu's funeral. And girl, Billy was with me. Okay, Billy was with me riding in what is it? Shooting in the gym with me, because I was out there just stuck, just useless. I was just stuck, this cute little small thing that everybody just carrying around with them. I'm cold, trying to huddle up with people like, hey, I'm cold. Every 5 seconds, and you got Billy being the sweet little bear on one side, and our other friends, and it's been a lot. But you know what? Because I kind of had you answer that legacy question early on. If you don't mind, I think it would be cool for us to close out on some of the signs we've gotten, because that's something that was cool and unique that we got to share with how we've been able to connect with Zu since then. Because actually, you said that early on in the beginning, and I forgot to circle back to it, but you were saying how like, and we've all said this, that we can't really fully understand it yet. Like, we don't fully believe it because we just feel her still like around us all the time. And I think that it would be cool for us specifically to speak about like what we mean, because like we both have been getting a lot of signs from her.
Yeah. So I don't know. It was one sign definitely that like, like made me hint out like, like she's still here, is like one day, I just got home and I was just breaking down like I've never done it before, like, and there's a light in my bathroom that does not work. Like, you can flip the switch on, mind you, and it just does not work. And then, like it just so happened that I accidentally flipped the switch on, but it was still off. And then bawling my eyes out and everything, washing my face multiple times. And then as I look up into the mirror, and I'm like going back to, close my shower curtain, I realized that the light is on and it's never turned on ever since that day. Never.
Yeah.
And it's like I was thinking about her, like as I left the shower area, it was still dark, right? And but when I came back just to close the curtain, I didn't see it because of how like much I was crying. The light turned on and I'm just like, wow, like I've been begging for a sign, begging for a sign that she's like here watching over me or something like that. And I'm taking that as my sign, because that light has never turned on ever since that day. It has not turned on, not even if I try to force it or anything. Like, and it's because I've had so many conversations, and it's like a huge connection between her and I, that, and also with my friends, like they're also a connection for me as well. It's like I still feel like she's still here, like I'm just replaying all the text messages, the recent text messages that I sent her and that she was replying to. So it's like she's still here. And I personally, I think it is a little bad because it's really hard for me to cope with death. But she's here, and seeing purple everywhere, it's odd because I don't really see that much purple, but lately I've been seeing a lot of purple, and I've spoke with other people, they've seen a lot of purple too. So it's like she's here, she's not gone, like she's forever here no matter what. So, and I just you just miss her. She's my honey that stayed looking like honey. And I will always say that, like, every time I'm just like, I'm just gonna bite your face. I just want to lick it. I just want to lick it or bite it, because just like she always looked perfect, and she always swore that she would run away from me, and I'm just like, every time I always got close. Every time I met up with her after, I was like, but
she got that smooth like butter skin. I ain't mad.
She never taught me what she did. Never.
She didn't do nothing. She didn't do nothing. We talked about this. The girl barely would just wash her face with some generic soap and put on some generic lotion. And I remember it being like Nivea or something. And I was like, girl, that stuff's so oily and greasy. And she was like, works for me. That was literally her attitude.
Literally the clearest skin. I have never seen her with a pimple.
She didn't put any effort in at all. So just so you can feel like, you're good. Like, she didn't have no secret to tell you. Like, she didn't do nothing. That was all genetics. That's Mama Aziza. Like, we gotta ask her, like, where this from, sis? Where is this from? Because the most basic, there's nothing about her routine. I think like A was trying to convince her that she needs to add some more stuff, and like definitely needs a sunscreen. And I think she probably started the sunscreen and that was about it. Like, nothing else.
I might dip my toe in this, but let me just stick to my usual.
Yeah. She was like, yeah, nope, it works for me. Like, she was like, I'm not doing anything else. Oh yeah. No, that's because I remember that conversation we had, and I just was like chills, because I had been experiencing certain things, and I can't remember who else was in the conversation, but it was a couple of us who were experiencing things. And I believe that literally in the time while we were talking about it, so my sign was purple butterflies, and as we were talking about it, like, my example was like flashing back to a memory that I had, like, distinctly of a purple butterfly. But then, like, not even 5 minutes later, my goddaughter walked in, and she had purple butterflies on her shirt. And I was just like, we were just talking about this. And then since then, I have continuously seen references to purple butterflies just randomly, continuously pop up. And I'm sitting here like, all right, okay, I told you, and now you're showing out. Relax. Like, like, hold on, relax.
Hold on. You know how she's extra though. So
oh,
gonna come,
extra.
come and be like, you know what? I'm gonna show you that I'm here. I'm right here.
Yeah, yeah, like quit. You're not gonna play with me. Like, thought I didn't come through. I came through. Like, yeah, no, she been coming through real heavy because I keep getting like certain repetitive messages, but it really is like something that I've noticed, like with people that I've lost. I don't always get signs, but there's been a couple that were very like, I think like almost, you know, because when they're your same age or whatever the case is, like there's just this intimate connection too, and just emotionally, what your body is trying to like reconcile with is so difficult. So those signs have been extremely helpful. But then even just talking to people and like when we had that conversation, I was like, oh, okay, great. It's not just me, right? Like that's like the best feeling of like, oh, it's not just me. Okay, y'all are experiencing this too. Okay, Brett. Like I don't feel as crazy anymore. Like, you know, like, oh,
Perfectly
cool.
normal. It is.
Yeah. Like, oh, she's talking to you? Okay, great. She's talking to me too. I love it. I absolutely love it. And I think you're traveling, so you're gonna be at Zoo Day. And I know it's hard. I know all that thing. We be feeling all the anxiety. So I just want to leave you with this. And anyways, by the time people see this, it will have already been over. But I know that this is how she would have wanted her birthday to be celebrated. This is definitely how she would have wanted us to carry on and like to see all of our relationships continue to strengthen and to show up for each other and to hold out, you know, a hand to one another when we're going through it. It's been beautiful, and I know it's difficult for you, Billy, and you have extra things to think about that I'm not gonna have you going into. I do at least hope you know. I know it's hard, but I hope you do at least know that like all of us have your back, and you don't have to like say a whole sentence. You don't have to say all your feelings. You can literally text me. I did this with Rivka the other day. You can literally text me weather emojis about how you're feeling. No, this is a trick I use. Literally, like, y'all, feel free to steal this, use this in your day to day. It's helpful, like, as someone who deals with depression on and off. And I would say not even like diagnosed, but just with PCOS, you deal with depressive moods, right? Sometimes I don't have words. Sometimes I'm just gonna send you some rain and clouds to let you know I'm crying today and I need some space. Or I'm crying today and I need a hug. Like, you know, you don't have to use all your words. You just send those because we're here, and I don't want to ever think that like my Billy baby is out there in the world by herself sad somewhere. So I just want to end on that note to let you remember, or not even to let you remember, to remind you and to say again that I love you. You are loved. You are extremely beautiful inside and out. And I'm so glad that I got to not only meet you, but to become one of your oldest sisters and get to watch out for you as we continue this journey, baby girl.
Thank you so much. And you're about to make me cry again.
That's okay, girl.
Oh God, thank you so much. I really appreciate you, and honestly, everybody that's been reaching out to me as well. And you know, I know it's tough for me, but you know, I can't even imagine what, you know, her family's going through as well. So it's really them on the back of my mind. It's like, forget me, just really them. Like, I'm just really worried about that. And but she definitely left her mark on here in this world. So I'm just happy that, you know, people noticed what she's done and how hard she's worked for Tigray, especially. So yeah.
Look at you, just all just selfless. I love you too. No, here trying to be selfless. Two things can be true. We gonna worry about you and we gonna worry about them together. So don't even worry about it. Yeah, that was it. That was the episode. Thank y'all, everybody.
Happy birthday, 24 Kobe year.
Yes, happy birthday, Zoo. Y'all, go subscribe, like, and share. For the love of Zoo, please.
Zoo. And if you don't do it,
for Zoo,
swear. Just know that.
We are trying to build her legacy here. So for the love of Zoo, go like, share, subscribe, support the fundraising efforts, whatever we're doing in her honor. We are gonna make sure that we make her proud. And if you understand her legacy is to empower y'all. So it's literally gonna go right back to you. So I'm so excited and honored to continue sharing these spaces with everyone. And until next time, we will see you.